Luffy and Loki vs. Imu's final battle is finally here, with the previews out from Shonen Jump confirming the final battle of Elbaf is taking place, Zoro and Sanji fighting against the buffed up Summers and Killingham, as well as the official color design for Imu. Let us get right into it with these previews and predictions for chapter 1183 of One Piece. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe, and let's get right into it. The first thing I have to say is that yes, we have the official preview. I'm showing it on the screen right here. This is the preview for the new chapter. And with this official release that's going to come out this chapter, we will finally get a confirmation of Imu's design. So does Imu have the brown skin that we've seen in some fan arts? Does he have the red skin? Very likely it probably is going to be red skin because he does have the devil fruit, the devil being red. The hair probably is going to be white, but you never know with Oda. It could be any color, like his hair may be blue or red as well. Maybe not red because of the fact that it's shaded white, so probably a lighter color, and the dots on his body will also get a color for that as well. I do hope he does have a more simplistic color scheme. I really don't want him to go all out with like 5 different colors as he's done with some characters. It sometimes does work out in rare cases, like with Loki. Loki had that purple and pink color scheme. Oddly enough, it really works with Loki. I'm not sure why, but it works for him. So I do hope we just get maybe a traditional red, white, and black. You know, black clothes, red skin, white hair. I think that could be very cool. Though I very much do like the idea if he has brown skin, because it may be linked to the Lunarian theories. If he does have brown skin, the Lunarian theories are going to go absolutely crazy. That's for damn sure. But also in this preview, we have Luffy here as well, and it just blatantly hyping up a Luffy versus Imu showdown. Now, sometimes when they do previews for chapters, it doesn't necessarily mean what's going to happen in the next chapter and the chapter that's coming. Sometimes it can actually just mean for the arc as a whole, which is pretty interesting, but it is saying that Luffy and Loki versus Imu, even though Loki isn't here, is going to be the final big battle of Elbaf. Now, of course, they definitely aren't going to be Imu in the traditional way. Given Summer's words in the previous chapters that Imu does have that time limit, it seems very likely that the time limit is going to play a key role in actually, and I truly say this in quotes, defeating Imu, because there's no way they're going to beat this guy in a true fight. The only way I see them winning, and I also say that in quotes, is just simply not dying against him fast enough for the time limit to end, or some sort of massive hockey blast which simply undoes the summoning spell which brought him, since we do know that the summoning circle, when people are brought via the summoning of the abyss, that can be outdone with Conqueror's Haki itself. So it's sort of like a major weakness where if you can just Conqueror's Haki them away back to where they originally used the summoning circle, which is why it seems it's a very important factor that when someone is there, any of these characters, it's important they physically come, just like Saturn did way back when. These spoilers and hints are actually going to drop in the next day, so tomorrow we will have hints. Be on the lookout for that video and subscribe so you don't miss my hints video coming out tomorrow, with the brief spoilers also coming out much earlier than normal. I'm not really too sure why spoilers are coming that early, since tomorrow is a Saturday, but nonetheless, they are coming out tomorrow. I have confirmation from some very reliable leakers that it's coming way earlier, apparently due to Golden Week and everything happening 2 weeks or 1 week before. As for Summers and Sanji versus Imu, man, what did I just say? Summers and Sanji versus Imu. Zoro and Sanji versus Summers and Killingham. I do think that's going to be a very interesting battle, especially given they're buffed. We even see on Killingham's weapon, he actually got a super buff where even his weapon has the black flames of the Omen, very reminiscent of Imu's own weapon right there. But more so, I'm curious about the Zaza, Reign of God, God of Rain, you know? Who's actually going to be the one to defeat Zaza? It could always be possible that Sanji may just try to defeat Killingham and undo the monster that was summoned that way. That is always a possibility, but Zaza, the Rain God, needs to be dealt with by somebody. Now, I really don't think Sanji's going to be able to defeat the Rain God. I'm curious because this Rain God is massive. Like, the giants are already 30 meters and their houses are the houses of giants, which are hundreds of meters, these houses, and the Rain God towers over these houses, making them look tiny. I really don't think people can comprehend how big the Rain God right here is, but the Rain God is actually comparable to San Juan Wolf. Yes, the one who was creeping behind Marineford, Sanjin Wolf of the Blackbeard Pirates. That's how big the Rain God is right now. You can literally see as Zoro is looking back in that tiny panel, the Rain God is unbelievably huge, like genuinely massive. He can see the village in the distance, and the Rain God goddess towering over the village, looking like a titan over the huge, massive village of giants. So I just don't know what's going to happen here, because Sanji already, I think killing Ham is going to be a tough fight for a Sanji who's so injured and on death's door, but when you factor in that he's got the Omen buff making him way stronger, way faster, better in every aspect with the Omen flames, and also that he has the Rain God on his side, I just don't know how Sanji's going to win this. Like, we are going to need to genuinely see the performance of a lifetime for Sanji to even come close to, I don't even know, not even winning, just freeing the children. Like, we genuinely will need some sort of a massive buff for Sanji. The other possibility I see is if Jinbei gets involved, and maybe Jinbei could be a hard counter because he is a fishman. That could always be a very interesting possibility as well, because I really hope Fat Bay gets off his ass and actually does something for once like he's just never done before. Now, as for Luffy and Loki versus Imu, which I want to get back into because that's definitely going to be a very important factor. In my previous video, I did talk about the Gear 6, which I think truly is almost confirmed. Like, I want to say it's a guaranteed thing that's going to happen, using the Mother Flame, and it's going to be the final awakening with his true god ring, the Sun God ring of the Dawn behind Luffy. Again, you can always check out my previous video after you watch this video, but I'm very curious because Loki, he's not doing terribly against Imu. Granted, the only hit that he actually pulled off against Imu was when Imu was lost in thought and quite literally not even paying attention, and I'm saying that in Loki's own words. He's like, you're underestimating me, you're lost in thought, and then he gets the hit off with Imu still being lost in thought. I'm gonna be honest, after all that happened. Now, if we factor in Luffy hopping into the fight as well, a lot of people sleep on how strong Luffy is in Gear 5. Luffy in Gear 5 is really strong. I mean, really strong. I don't know why people sleep on it. If Luffy didn't have that time limit in Gear 5, I'm gonna be honest, he would curb stomp any Admiral or any Yonko. I mean, Shanks is the only questionable one, but he probably may even beat him. I don't really even know because his Gear 5 is so strong. The only weakness and downside to Gear 5 Luffy, it's literally the time limit. That's it. Other than that, I truly think he beats every single character with the exception of, I don't know, Loki's a big iffy one, but I think he may even be able to beat Loki. I really don't know because even we haven't seen the true extent of Loki. For example, his hybrid form, and even then, Loki is already injured starting off this fight, so it's very tough to, scale him compared to Loki or Shanks at his true power. Definitely not Imu, but even though Luffy's gonna step into this fight, I think it's gonna be quite tough for Imu to take on Luffy and Loki at the same time, especially considering Luffy is gonna be as strong as he possibly can with all the food that he's eating. He's even taking extra time compared to Loki, eating more food, saying, I need more food to fight this tremendous amount of haki. I think the most interesting thing that is going to come out of these chapters is actually going to be when Imu sees Luffy, and will that be a gateway into a Imu flashback regarding Joy Boy? I'm very curious about that because Imu, when he actually physically came himself, not just in the Gunko possessed form, seemed to have a very different reaction when he saw the Nidhogg, almost as if he's reminiscing since he's seeing with his own eyes and not just a possessed eyes. Now, that should happen once again when he hears the rhythm of Luffy's heart beating, Joy Boy's drums of liberation, but also when he actually sees the Nika form right there, reminding him of his friend from the past, Joy Boy. Just the fact that we actually got a glimpse into his past, a brief glimpse into a flashback, I really think we may get, if not a full flashback, at least a small flashback or some sort of a snippet, just like we did with Odin. Before we actually got the full Odin flashback, there were rare times in arcs before where we would get literally just a page or two of just some sort of a flashback where Odin is fully silhouetted, or for example, Roger was fully silhouetted before we got the full flashback. My genuine prediction is that before we get the full Imu and Joy Boy flashback, we probably will get a flashback of Imu there with Joy Boy being fully silhouetted, probably saving it for the true full flashback after the Elbaf arc, because we've already gotten a huge flashback this arc with the Rocks flashback. There's no way we're going to get a fully dedicated 15-20 chapters for Joy Boy and Imu. I could be wrong, but I simply feel like we will get a brief page or two, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. It could even be just a few more panels flashback of Joy Boy and Imu, triggered by him seeing Luffy in Joy Boy / the true Nika form right there. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to leave a like on the video. Upset so much. Thank you very much. And of course, do subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you love One Piece content like this, One Piece manga spoilers, leaks, theories, predictions, full roars, full chapter reviews, you will love this channel. If you love One Piece, you'll not regret subscribing. But hey, that's all from me, everybody. Have a wonderful day and take care.